There's a moment in every Pokemon playthrough, and it sneaks up on you, when the whole thing just kinda derails. Not dramatically, not explosively, not in a Team Rocket stole my electric mouse kind of way. More like you're casually strolling through the game, vibing, having a great time, and then suddenly your entire adventure feels like it's being held together by duct tape and emotional denial. Your team's a mess, your bag is a disaster, and your strategy is hope that the AI makes a bad decision. And you're sitting there thinking, how did this adorable creature collecting adventure become whatever the heck this is? And listen, like in my previous video, I'm not dogging you, I'm dogging me. I've been playing Pokemon long enough that my save files should qualify for a pension, and yet I still manage to sabotage my own runs more than an electrode at a yoga class being told to release tension. Seriously, if there was a Pokedex entry for me, it would probably just say, Chase, the neurotic Pokemon. It is fueled by caffeine and nervous energy, frequently creates problems for itself, and then acts surprised. So today, we're breaking down the 7 habits that quietly ruin a Pokemon playthrough. Not because you're bad at the game, but because you're a human being with a brain that, if it's like mine, oftentimes says, hey, what if we made this harder for no reason? So let's get into it. Starting with habit number 1, over-leveling one Pokemon until the rest of your team is basically just there for decoration.
That decoration, man. It's just for decoration. Do it for decoration.
Okay, so this is a universal Pokemon experience that transcends generations, regions, and versions. You pick your starter. You love your starter. You bond with your starter like it's your firstborn child. And before you know it, you've got a level 37 Blaziken and the rest of your team warming the bench more than my 13-year-old butt at a middle school basketball game. So your playthrough basically becomes the adventures of one extremely overworked Pokemon and its 5 unpaid interns. You walk into a gym and your brain's like, okay buddy, it's all you. Again. Sorry. Meanwhile, your other Pokemon are in the back like, hey, quick question, why do we exist? And the worst part, it works, at least for a while. That is, until you hit that one gym where your over-leveled super soldier has a type disadvantage. And suddenly, you're sweating harder than a Magikarp at a sushi restaurant. So here's why this ruins your playthrough. You get stuck the moment your ace hits a bad matchup. It leaves you panic grinding later. You turn every major battle into a coin flip that's totally dependent on type matchups. And you never get to enjoy the rest of your team. And for the fix, it's pretty obvious, but rotate your team. Let someone else fight. Your starter is not your emotional support forklift. And I mean, come on guys, the games themselves have been telling us this since at least Gen 1. As a matter of fact, there's a sign in Pewter City that reminds you to switch out your team. Basically the OG anti-overleveling PSA before the automatic experience share even existed. And believe me, I get it. I do it, you do it, your third cousin who hit on you at the family reunion that one time does it.
So, what have Yin's been up to? You ain't paying no child support, are you?
But honestly, that doesn't make it okay. The over-leveling thing, I mean, not the cousin thing. Habit number 2, hoarding items like you're preparing for a natural disaster. There's a very specific type of Pokemon player, and I say this with love, who treats every item like it's a priceless artifact from an ancient civilization. And, yeah, I'm actually talking about myself again, to be honest. This is how it goes for me. I get a Hyper Potion and my brain says, oh no, I can't use that. That's for a real emergency. And meanwhile, my Pokemon's life force is literally being drained from its body. And most of the time, I'd rather my poor team member's face hit the gym floor and take it to the Pokemon Center afterwards than use one measly item to make my life a little bit easier. Because, you know, I could really need this later. And it's like, dude, you need this right now. And again, I'm talking to myself. But I mean, really, like, what more do we need? A handwritten invitation? And then we finish the game with like 12 unused max revives, 9 full restores, 3 rare items that we forgot even existed, and a bag that looks like we robbed a Pokemart at Pikachu Point.
Alright, put the money in the bag! Put it in!
Meanwhile, we're out there getting wrecked in battles because we're afraid to use that one dadgum potion because we're treating it like it's some kind of sacred relic or something. Oh, and don't even get me started on X items. I've never used an X attack in my life, and I don't know of another single human being who has. They're like the free toothbrushes you get at the dentist. Technically useful, but destined for a drawer and getting thrown away 7 years later when you finally clean it out during a manic episode. When's the last time we mopped these floors? Freaking animal cracker crumbs, cat pee everywhere. Not that I would know anything about that. And here's why this ruins a playthrough. First of all, it makes battles way harder than they need to be. It stresses you out, and it turns your bag into something that's ready for its own episode of Hoarders. And if you need proof of this being a bad Pokemon habit, just go back and look at the bag in a game that you've completed a playthrough for. More than likely, it's packed with a pile of stuff that you could have used to actually make the gameplay experience better. And of course, this is not to say that hanging on to some items doesn't make sense, because it does, such as saving your rare candies for the Elite Four and that sort of thing. But dude, if you're sitting on 12 nuggets throughout your entire playthrough, it might be time to reevaluate your life choices. And the fix? Use your items. They're not heirlooms. They're things that are in the game for the specific purpose of making your life easier and your Pokemon less dead. Fainted, because Pokemon don't die and all that. Except that they do, with Lavender Town and Pokemon Tower and all that stuff, right? Okay, I'm overthinking it. Let's just move on. Habit number 3, never updating your moveset because it's fine. You know how it goes. Your Pokemon's level 52 and it still knows Tackle. And yet, you scroll through your TMs like you're browsing the menu at a restaurant you can't afford. Ooh, Earthquake. That sounds fantastic. I'll go with Mud Slap again. And you know what's wild? The game just straight up gives us some of the coolest moves in the series, and yet we treat them like that wad of $2 bills that you got from your grandma on your birthday 23 years ago. And believe me, I get it. I'll hold on to a move like Leer for 40 hours of a playthrough like I'm preserving it for sentimental reasons. It's been with me from the very beginning. Or even dumber, because I'm thinking that I can't replace this move because I'm gonna need it for that very specific situation coming up in the future that only this one move could possibly help me with. Take it from me. That moment ain't coming any sooner than Congress hitting an approval rating above 20%. You can replace that move with something that's actually useful. Here's why this affects your playthrough. You miss out on stab or same type attack bonus. If you're not familiar, Pokemon using an attack that's the same type as at least one of their types gets a 1.5 times attack increase. You miss out on coverage, which is giving a Pokemon a move of a type that may not be one of its own to counter types that it might be weak to. You make the Elite Four feel like a punishment that's atoning for that mean thing you did back in 2006. Oh, hi, Mrs. Henderson. Yeah, so sorry to hear about Mr. Henderson. Oh, sure, I can help you with your yard work. I'll be right there. And you turn every battle into a slow, painful slog. For a fix, teach your Pokemon something that doesn't sound like a cry for help. Your moveset shouldn't look like it's straight out of Route 1.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Habit number 4, avoiding trainer battles like you owe them money. Oh yeah, this one's a classic. You see a bug catcher and suddenly you're performing evasive maneuvers that would impress an Air Force pilot. I mean seriously, some of y'all are avoiding eye contact with NPC trainers more than you would when running into your ex at the grocery store. You zigzag, you sidestep, you walk behind them, you walk around them, you walk into a cave, you walk out of the cave. You do everything except fight the child with 2 Caterpies. And for what? To save 12 seconds? Because here's what ends up happening, especially if you make it a repeated habit throughout a playthrough. You skip every trainer on the route, feel like a genius, and then walk into the next gym wildly underleveled and more frustrated than a malnourished Snorlax at an organic salad bar. As to why this ruins your playthrough, you fall behind the level curve. You end up having to grind later. You miss free money, which translates to fewer Pokeballs and items that you could have used to catch better Pokemon or heal up in a bad spot. And also, you miss out on fun battles, which really is kind of the entire point of the game. Or at least you miss out on wrecking Bugcatcher Wade's level 2 Caterpies with your overleveled Fire Starter. And the fix? Just fight the trainers, dude. They're free XP with hats and weird stubby legs. Habit number 5, catching everything and using nothing. Yep, chances are your PC boxes look like a digital wildlife sanctuary, and your team looks like that group project from the 8th grade where only one person did the work. You catch every Pokemon that you see because maybe I'll use it later, and then later, never comes. So you end up with 14 water types, 9 normal types, 3 bug types, and that one weird outlier you caught because it looked at you funny. And yeah, you're still using the same 3 Pokemon that you started with. This ruins your playthrough because you end up paralyzed by decision fatigue. And you're stuck using the same 3 go-to Pokemon while a whole zoo of neglected weirdos rots in your storage. So you basically turn your PC into a disorganized and depressing version of Mr. Fuji's house that you never actually get any use out of. To fix this, try actually letting something from Box 12 touch grass for once. Pull a random Pokemon out, give it a snack, and let it fight something. You just might accidentally have fun. So yeah, just shake things up every now and then. This is similar to the fix for Habit 5 in my last video, which covered 7 habits that are quietly killing your love for Pokemon games in general. If you haven't checked that out, I'll put the link in the description. Habit number 6, ignoring status moves like they're spam calls.
We've been trying to reach you regarding your car's extended warranty.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. You see a move like Thunder Wave and your brain goes, no thanks, I'll just punch harder. Guilty as charged. But honestly, status moves can be super broken. They're like the seasoning of Pokemon battles. Without them, everything just tastes like plain oatmeal. And it's nonsensical because with status moves, these games give us a way to make battles easier and more fun. And we're like, nah, I'm just gonna keep slamming my head into this brick wall.
Yeah! Yeah!
Why this habit ruins a playthrough. It makes boss fights harder. You miss out on actual strategy. You rely on brute force, which admittedly will probably work for a while, but only until you run into a situation where it just doesn't, like a bad type matchup or, God forbid, Whitney's Miltank. Side note, spamming that Demon Cow with an accuracy lowering move can actually work wonders and spare yourself a lot of pain and suffering. And therapy sessions. Here's the fix. Try one status move, just one. Dip your toes into the Pokemon Spice Cabinet. Even if it's Sand Attack or Growl, it might actually come in handy and open the door for new strategies or a way around that frustrating battle that you've been stuck on. Now I will say one exception to this might be soloing Gen 1 with Nidoking. You know, with Thrash and all that. But Gen 1's pretty much broken across the board anyway. So yeah. And finally, Habit 7. Playing on autopilot until you forget what you're doing. You're mashing A. You're skipping dialogue, you're not reading signs, you're not paying attention. Then suddenly you're more lost, confused, underleveled, and emotionally compromised than a Cubone that's lost its mother and its lunch money. You walk into a cave that you weren't supposed to be in. You forget where the gym is. You forget what the plot is. You forget why you're even here. You forget your anniversary. Okay, maybe not that last one. But before you know it, your playthrough becomes a lot like my brain at 4 p.m. on an average weekday. A blurry mishmash of half-remembered decisions and questionable life choices. Here's why this ruins your playthrough. You miss out on the story, including interesting bits of lore that you might have overlooked. You miss items, you miss cool encounters, and ultimately you feel disconnected from the run. And for the fix, slow down. Pretend you're not late for work and your cousin's wedding at the same time. Oh crap, what do I do? Give the game enough attention to actually enjoy it. So, which of these habits ruined your last playthrough? What are some that you found yourself doing that weren't mentioned here? Again, I'm personally guilty of all of these. But hey, awareness is the first step towards recovery. Or at least not dragging a level 12 Pidgey into the Elite Four again. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more highly caffeinated and slightly unhinged Pokemon content. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. You're sweating harder than a Magikarp at a sushi restaurant.